Christmas, just like the ones I used to know. May your dreams be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Yeah!
Oh, blueberry lip. Look at that. Blueberries. This is a symptom of living a wild life when you're just chowing down on blueberries all the time. That was just a performance of the ancient Celtic debarker tool dance. Completely free for you here on YouTube. You're welcome. do you think? Going for the same rope?
Yeah.
I think it's just useful for getting it off the ground as well.
Oh yeah, saves a lot of that muscle back. Kilos. Okay. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Let's
just
do
in case.
Shooting.
Just in case. Actually, if I know there is a last name Case. If
I actually know a guy, last name Case, first name Justin.
no, you do
And
not.
there's two of them.
No, you do not.
Yeah. The parents couldn't resist.
Dude, that's just cruel. Thor's Oak. Oh yeah, most people, so some people can giving concern that I'm like leaving my food in my tent, but this is about 250 or 300 meters away. I keep all my food in here. That's my frying pan, so I don't get eaten alive by a mountain lion or a wolverine. For my next logs up on the end, for the passes now on the width section, I'm not liking the diameters of any of the 14 footers that I have up here. They're just not beefy enough because I've got a bunch of, like 7 to 8 inchers. But this first layer, these are all 10-inch diameter logs. And I think that I can find, hopefully, if I can find another 9-inch log close to the build site, maybe one of these guys over here, it would be chef's kiss, because I got a bunch of kind of like 8 to 9 inch long sections that I can put on these spans, but I just don't have a good section for the end there. So let's go find something. That tree has got a 9-inch diameter. That'll be perfect for my second level on top of my 10-inch logs. The build site's right there. The problem is, ideally I'd fell it towards the build site, but I've got my ridge beam cable right here. So I have to make sure I'm gonna fell it that way and then drag it out butt first. So what I have is, after recommendations from viewers in the comments, I got some of these felling wedges, Husqvarna felling wedge. So I'm gonna make a cut in, or I guess I do my front cut, and then as I do my relief cut on the back, I'm gonna start tapping this bad boy in. Top Gun reference. This is perfect. This is a beast that I thought was going to be too big to use, but it's 9 inches. It fits perfectly with the tree that I just cut up there to go as my second layer on top of my 10 inches. It is extremely heavy. I couldn't move it by myself before the snow. So we're going to see if we can somehow winch it up. Last night I was thinking, man, you know, get an ATV winch that I've seen in the store. Get it. You don't need to bolt it onto an ATV. Just strap it to a tree, and the hand winch, you should be able to winch stuff. I'm going to put it around a tree. I'm going to try to winch this thing. Adapt, improvise, overcome. Okay, I just wrapped that tarp over the hook where it hooks onto the strap. And I'm going to put on my helmet and I'm going to have the face mask down, because if that tackle snaps and it comes firing back towards me at 1,000 miles an hour, it could literally kill me. So after I complete this stretch, I think a better solution, I'm going to cut a hole in the bottom of that burlap bag and put that on the head of the tackle. So that'll dampen any, force it has if it snaps. Just realized the handle is blocking to the wood, so I'm gonna have to take this off and I think make a cut. Oh my God, it's working. To be honest, I've really preferred using the electric saw for doing small cuts like this, because it is less powerful. Like the RPMs are lower. You just got to worry less, because if you mess up, you've got more time to react in case it's cutting into your boot or it's something on your leg. I should really be wearing my chainsaw chops right now, actually. There she is. This is the first and last time that I am cooking inside my tent. I thought I'd give it a go. It was minus 13 out there today, and you can see the tent's filling up with smoke, and not a good idea. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on you again. George W. Bush. Magnifique! Sophie Turner, take me to bed and love me forever. Senatus Publius K. Romanus. Strength and honor. Oh my God. There she is. Hello, build site. Hello, log. Ladies and gentlemen, bonsoir. So this log here has a bit of a, I don't know if you can see, it's kind of a, it curves up here. So I've just flipped it over. And I want that curve up actually going down, because if you can see here, this is the top of this tree. So it's thinner there, and that's the butt. So it's thicker to thinner. This just happens to be the butt of this log, and it's thinner up there, and it's thicker here. So there's a bit of a gap there, and that's no big problem. You know, you can chink it and fill it with a shim. But I figure if I can carve that out and take advantage of this undulation in this log, it could fit perfectly there and close up, if not totally, then at least partially, this gap here. Look at that. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. What's the recommended daily intake of honey? It's half a jar, right? Now, the two original logs that I cut, that guy and then the guy on the end there, you can see right here, they're only about 7 inches in diameter. So they're not going to be big enough to pair with these dudes, these two guys, because they're literally 10 inches or, 9.5. Now, thankfully, that guy is 10 inches and that guy is 10 inches. So I'm going to cut these 18 footers down to 16 feet and then peel them, because those will match up very nicely for a very robust second level that would make Senatus Publius K. Romanus, the Senate and people of Rome, overjoyed. Just like to take a second to show that this meadow is not only, this area here. If you look behind just this spruce tree and this pin cherry here, there's a whole other meadow over here. So if I do a little bit of trimming, it's going to open up this whole space. And I think that's the plan. In the summertime, oh my God, this is gorgeous. It's all like ferns and wildflowers. Absolutely beautiful. Now, if I continue to harvest my trees from this direction, what that means is that all of the morning sun, right up until 12 noon, I'll get all of that morning sun. And there's actually not that many trees over there. We're probably talking about maybe 24 balsam fir and large spruce trees. So to get let all that morning sun into this meadow area, it's not going to take very much work. And these kind of meadows are amazing for wildlife. All different kinds of critters benefit from having meadows. So why am I drilling the top log but not the bottom log? And why am I using a washer on the top of these spikes? I forgot to put a washer on the first spike, but you know, the rest of them I will remember hopefully. But the problem that I'm trying to overcome is the fact that I'm using raw logs. Because generally the optimal situation is if you cut these logs, you peel them, and then you let them sit for at least a year, if not 2. They get totally dried. And what will happen is that they will shrink. Not a huge amount, but a non-trivial amount, right? You will get about a 1/2 inch of shrinkage per foot of wall height. So reading, you know, I read basically the 2 best-selling log construction books on Amazon. One was relatively new one was a very old-timey one, I think built, like written in the 1940s. So, you know, they talked about how it is optimal to build with fully seasoned logs, and there are problems with building with raw logs, but there are problems that you can overcome. So one of the things you can do is with spikes. If I did not drill the top log, what would happen is if I spike the 2 logs together, as the logs shrinked, they would, and dried out, they would bite onto this spike, and then both logs would shrink to their center. They would not shrink down together. So if I did not drill that hole, what would happen is that there would be gaps that would open up between the logs. And that's not the end of the world. I mean, you might have to re-chink it. Big deal. Oh my God. Is it the optimal solution? No, but it's totally overcomeable. However, if you drill the top log and then you spike it into the bottom and then have the washer on top, what happens is the bottom log will bite onto the spike, but the top log will not. So as that bottom log bites onto the spike and then shrinks over the next year or 2, that 1/2 inch per foot, it's going to shrink down, but the top log is going to get pulled down towards it because the top log is not biting into the spike in the same way because I've drilled this hole around the spike, and the washer on top, it will pull it down. So actually, in preparation for this in the spring, I test peeled 11 logs of the same diameter that I'm using here on my buddy's property. I felled them, I limbed them, and I peeled them to see what the whole process was like. I read these 2 books, and then the other thing was I called up this log construction company. All they do is build log homes here in Ontario. They're in Eastern Ontario, the same kind of area where I am, but to the south. And the guy, I actually spoke to the owner on the phone. He's like, yeah, if you drill the top log and spike the bottom with the washer, it's a really elegant way of having your cabin dry together and not have these gaps open up. Is it perfect? No, it's not the optimal solution. But in this scenario where I'm trying to build at the start of winter and build as fast as possible, I don't have time to let my logs dry for 2 years, okay? So I see some people in the comments saying, oh, you can't build, it's impossible to build with raw logs. That's a load of horse shit. You definitely can. People did it all the time, and people still do it. Is it optimal? No, but there are tricks and techniques to overcome some of the disadvantages of raw logs and maintain their advantages, which is you can use them right away. Speed, baby, speed. Guys, I need to admit something. I have a drinking problem, but I can't go to Alcoholics Anonymous because they don't have any expertise in people who just can't stop drinking maple syrup. Screw it. I'm just going to keep drinking. So my question for YouTube out there, all my lovely subscribers and viewers. So on the advice of this guy, right, I'm drilling the top log and spiking the bottom. I'm worried that like this is the exact same diameter as the spikes that I'm using. So when I'm, hammering the spike down through the drilled portion, it goes really easy, right? Until it starts to bite at the bottom. Then I really got to hammer. I'm using a half sledgehammer. This is a 4-pound head. Now, should I be actually drilling a hole that's bigger than the spikes themselves? Like, should I move a size up in my drill bit so that I'm really going to avoid the top log biting on the spike? I'm going to try to, it's Christmas weekend this weekend. So the guy's probably not in, but early next week, I'm going to call that company back, see if I can get the owner back on the line and ask him, should I be really going a size up from the spike to really, prevent that top log from biting on it? Look at that, folks. We got the first 2 levels up. Oh my God. I can't tell you the amount of kind of like anxiety, is the drilling and the tapping thing gonna work? Now that I've got 2 levels up, it'll be easy for me to put 2x4s to guide the logs in. I was finding with just the single level, tapping in screws to the 2x4, it would get knocked out really easily because it's an uneven, surface. But now that I've got an even surface of the 2 logs to tap 2 screws into at 2 different levels, the 2x4s will help, these logs go up very, very well. I'm gonna wait to sink the other 2 bolts on these 2 logs until I can talk to the log construction company fellow who I was talking to earlier and ask him, should I actually be using a slightly larger drill bit than I am so that there's less friction on these top logs. So to make sure that his mechanism he was telling me about, where they will shrink down, they will pull each other down, will function properly. We got 24 more logs sitting right here. There's another 4 up the path. So we got 28. That's going to be enough for about 7 levels on top of these 2 existing ones. And I think we're going to need probably 12 in total. Maybe 1 more, maybe 13. So that's going to get us quite a ways. And this goes fast, man. Once these things are peeled, this thing is pretty darn fast. So hopefully next week, I'm taking off early this week to go down south to Toronto to get home for the family Christmas. And I'll be there for 3 or 4 days and then right back at it. Next week, my roof is getting delivered. That's very, very exciting. It's steel, matte black. And once we get these walls up, folks, we can put in the roof.